to the Lotus Richey Ignite Show. We are here to inspire and empower you and ignite the fire of success within you so that you can ignite and take flight in every area of your life. We are here tonight with another great show with another powerful influencer that is intended to be here just for you. Hello, folks. This is Lotus Richey Ignites. We're super happy to have you back here on another fabulous broadcast. Listen, it is Fabulous Friday, and I hope that you have done some phenomenal things on Fabulous Friday. That's right. Why is it fabulous? Because you're here, and we're just so happy to be here with you. So come on in, get in where you fit in, because I've always got room right here around my table for you. So now check this out. You know, I always tell you guys, make sure you have something great to drink. Today, I'm drinking Robio's tea with some nice fresh cut lemons. So I'm going to take a sip. Oh, I love that. So make sure you have something in your cup. And when you come in, let us know where you're joining us from. Also, not only that, if you want to share what you're drinking, please let us know what you're drinking, because we want to know. And then the other thing I always tell you guys when you come in, come on in. Go tell a friend, tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your coworker, tell a friend and tell a frenemy to come on in, because it's time to win. And don't forget, make sure you have your notepad and a pen. Why? Because you know I always say note takers are money makers. So come on in. We're only going to be with you for a short time today. I've got a fabulous guest for you today. You are going to be floored. So I see folks are already streaming in. I want to say hi to Angela Elting, all the way from Washington, D.C. Medel the fabulous author. You know her, one of her books, the day she released it, the book went viral globally. So hey, Medel, good to see you. She's coming in all the way from Perth, Australia. So happy to have you on board. So as you come in, follow their lead. You see, do what Marel Tulakima did and Angela Elting. Follow their lead and put in where you're coming in from. So with that being said, I just want to share this with you, folks. I've had so many people talk about the Black Lives Matter thing that's going on here in the United States. But something else that really concerned me was domestic violence. And as many of you know, I've worked with people all over the world, and I've seen so many domestic violence cases. I've even had to help people get out of their home where the domestic violence was occurring and into a safe shelter. And today I have a phenomenal young lady here, and she's going to help us, help all of you around the world, share some things about domestic violence. And some of these things may shock you. But most importantly, she's going to share with us how we can overcome it. She's also going to share a little bit of her story, who she is, and how domestic violence affected her. So now that I've said that, I want to make sure you do this. Share, like, and start a watch party. Why? Because this is some powerful information that you cannot afford to miss. And also, you want to make sure you share it with people across the globe. So we're getting ready to get started right now. And I see Dr. D Bowen. Good to see you. How you doing, D? Let us know where you're coming in from. We love to have you here. You're always such a great support. We really appreciate you. So let us know where you're coming in from. D Brown, fabulous author. If you don't have her book, make sure you check out D Brown. Mwah, love you. So with that being said, folks, go ahead, tell a friend of me, come on in, because it's time to win, because we're getting ready to get started. And I see Jasper Morris all the way from South Carolina. Great to see you. And I love you too. Thank you so much. So I just want you to know that if you're just coming in and you haven't gotten your pen and your pad, get it, because we're only going to be here for a short while. And this person that I'm bringing, this lady, she's a powerhouse. She's going to give you some nuggets that's going to help you expand you mentally, and spiritually, because she's deeply rooted in her spiritual essence. And that's great. But get a notepad and pen, because when note takers are money makers. So with that being said, let's get ready because we're about to start the show. Here we go. Welcome to the Lotus Richey Ignite Show. We are here to inspire and empower you and ignite the fire of success within you so that you can ignite and take flight in every area of your life. We are here tonight with another great show with another powerful influencer that is intended to be here just for you. Hello, winners. I am super happy to be here. And if you don't know, now you know. And I want to welcome to the show my guest, my new friend, and she's going to be a friend of yours because she is phenomenal. Her name is Tina Thomson. Now, Tina Thomson is the founder and CEO of Epiphany Leadership Coaching, but she's so much more than that. And she's going to tell you a little bit about herself. Hey, Tina.
Hello everybody.
How you doing? It's good to see you and good to have you here. So thank you so much.
I'm great, and thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. So Tina, I'm super happy that we met because you and I were able to share some like stories. So if you would, please share with our guests a little bit about who you are. Tell us what you do, and then we're going to get right into our topic. And for those of you that might just be joining us today, we're going to be sharing the impact of domestic violence globally. And we welcome you to share your stories, but most importantly, like, share, and start a watch party to show people that we care all around the world. Tina?
Thank you so much. Yes, I am an accredited leadership coach. And when I say leadership, every single one of us is a leader. You don't need a title to
yes.
lead. We all have responsibility to lead. I also serve as the Chief Operating Officer of Open Box and Kingston Ulster Commerce Park. And they are based in New York. And I also am the honorary global ambassador for Female Wave of Change. Mm-hmm. Those are the three aspects that are most prominent and take up the most of my time. But I'm also a mother and a mother-in-law, and is top for me, my top priority.
Awesome. Fantastic. So if some of you out there are mother-in-laws, okay, because she also said I'm a mother and I'm a mother-in-law. If you're a mother and if you're a mother-in-law, go ahead and put a number 1 in the comment below, because guess what? She gets 50 points just for being a mother, first of all, and let's give her another billion points for being a mother-in-law. So put a 2 in the comment block below. Put a 2 in the comment block below. Yeah. So I want to say, hey, Jasper, thank you for coming in. And Felicia Berber, good to see you. Happy to have you here. Lynette Lachelle, hey, Jasper sending this out to everybody. Thank you so much. And Marel Tulekima, she put the number 1 in the comment bar below. So thank you so much. So with that being said, thank you so much for kind of letting our viewers know who you are and a little bit about what you do. And as you know, folks, today we are going to be talking about the why it's so important to understand the impact of global domestic violence, because it's really happening all over the world. And sometimes it's happening to people like you, like me, and like Tina. And so because of some developments that recently occurred, Tina agreed to come on the show and share some wonderful insights about domestic violence, and also to help support a movement that's going on across the shores from us. So we're going to talk about what domestic violence is. Many people may not be sure about what domestic violence is. So Tina, can you tell people, in your opinion, what domestic violence is?
in my opinion, it is a violation of one's human rights. It's violence, physical violence or abuse in a domestic situation, in the home. So whether it's in a marriage or in, a cohabitation setup, and honestly, once is too much, and it takes on different forms. There can be the physical violence, there can be the mental attack, emotional, even financial abuse, where there's a withholding of funds and a control by the abuser. And then, of course, the verbal abuse, which is so detrimental.
Yes.
I have been a victim, and I would, till the day I die, say that the verbal abuse far outweighs the physical, because the physical heals.
Yes.
No matter how, as I shared with you, Lotus, the local shelter that I support has reported this morning the murder of a young woman with 3 children, under 4 years of age. That can't heal, obviously. But the broken bones, the bruises, the scratches, they heal, but you can't put a Band-Aid on your soul, other than, of course, prayer, healing of the great healer, Jehovah Rapha. But to me, that is what domestic violence is. You spoke about global.
Yes.
I am a South African, and I love the motherland of Africa. And I have worked in certain parts of the continent where there is genital mutilation of young girls. That's domestic violence. It's done by their own families. So it's broad. It's broad, and it's unacceptable.
It's almost unfathomable, because a lot of people don't really understand that there are so many forms of domestic violence, and some people think that if someone has not hit them, that it is not domestic violence. But we're hearing right here today that it is domestic violence, and people don't deserve that, because we said earlier, broken bones heal, but Band-Aids can't heal the wound, because it's deep-seated, and typically it trickles down into your life even long after the abuse has been committed.
Right.
So I'm super happy that you're here today, and we're going to get into some other things. I looked at a organization that talks about domestic violence in length, and their idea of domestic violence was everything that Tina just said. It's also called partner violence, which is IPV. Okay. It's domestic abuse. It's a pattern or behaviors used by one partner to maintain power or control over another partner or someone that they're being intimate with. So just remember that, especially you young ladies that are going out, you're dating these guys. The first time he grabs you, or if you're same sex oriented, the first time she grabs you or he grabs you, that could be a telltale sign of what is yet to come. Now, one thing we do know, Tina, unequivocally, is that this violence isn't just scheduled to women. It's pervasive with men as well. That's my concept. What are your thoughts about that, Tina?
100%. And I want to talk, from experience. So the local shelter, which I speak of, which is now called Center for Hope and Safety, was called Shelter Our Sisters. However, they had so many men coming in that they needed to rebrand and be open to men and women, because you're quite correct, Lotus. It does span. It spans
Yes.
genders, different, nationalities, different status. It's not
Yes.
selective at all. I was married to an exceedingly wealthy man for 16 years, and nobody knew about
Wow.
this. Nobody knew. I would just turn down invitations, and lifelong friends and family would think something's wrong with me, and I'm being rude. I hid it. I hid it for 16 years. I hid it
Wow.
even from my own son, who
Wow.
is still so close to me, and it was him, in fact, on the day that I left, that gave me the strength to leave. And he protected me from actually doing my ex-husband harm. And I would be sitting in jail had my son not stopped me.
Wow. Wow. And today, folks, we're going to share a brief portion of a video on our way out, because we want to make sure, if you are suffering in silence, we want to make sure that you understand that you don't have to suffer in silence, because at the end of the day, there are places out here that want to help you. Tina, you've shared that your organization that you're a part of, the Center for Hope and Safety, they kind of transmogrified the name to also help men. And I will say that a lot of men have been victims, if you will, of domestic violence. And again, it's not just a physical violence, folks. And this thing is rampant, unequivocally. It's financial, it's emotional, it's verbal. Okay. And we're going to talk some more about this, but I want to defer to our viewers. If you know anyone that has suffered with domestic violence, I want you to put a 3 in the comment block below, because I want people around the world to know that there's nothing to be ashamed of, and that there are other people that are going through some of the same things that you're going through, but you don't have to stay there. There are so many statistics that talk about domestic violence. And it talks about the fact that oftentimes when people are in domestic violence situations, oftentimes it's intimate partner violence. Okay. It talks about that it's not just physical trauma, but sometimes people say, well, they didn't slap you. We can't see anything that's letting us know that you were physically violated or abused. Well, guess what? There's something called genital trauma. Oftentimes, people that even you're married to will force you to engage in sexual relations against your will. And in some countries, it's against the law to refuse your husband. There are musculoskeletal things that happen when it comes to violence. There's soft tissue things that happen. And there's so many other things that happens. And not only is it physical, but it's psychological trauma, stress. People endure just unneeded and unwelcome stress. It creates a mental health problem like PTSD and anxiety and depression, even eating disorders and suicidality. Tina, can you relate to any of these things when you were going through your ordeal?
I mean, you're spot on. So the mere fact that I hid it from everyone friends, family, colleagues. Nobody knew.
Wow.
I internalized it all, and it took my health. I ended up with chronic fatigue syndrome, which, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, actually, because I've been divorced for 20 years, even the doctors didn't understand. They thought, one of the specialists said to me, perhaps you should speak to someone. And I said to him, you know what? This is physical. I can't move. I can't
Yes.
do much. I'm always ill, always. If it wasn't a bladder infection, it was a bronchitis attack. If it was,
Yes.
it was migraine headaches.
Mm-hmm.
The throat closes up, so there's this tonsillitis constantly, and so you're taking antibiotics for that, and then it has other side effects. I want to say to people listening, the day I left, after 16 years, every
Wow.
one of my ailments disappeared, literally overnight.
Wow.
People say, how did you recover? My GP of 30 years, the man who delivered my son, said to me, I'd like to share what you did with my patients so they can recover from chronic fatigue syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Because whatever you read about it, it tells you cannot recover.
Right.
All I can say is I left
Mm-hmm.
and I prayed. And there's
Yes.
nothing else. There's nothing else. You hear about people doing all sorts of therapies and diets, and I divorced the problem.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I love that. You have to divorce the problem.
Yeah.
And Tina, you and I shared an event that I had where at this time I was working for a university, and I was also working in my field. I was working for a counseling firm, and I'd gotten this new case. So I scheduled the appointment, and when I went to the home to meet with the family, and there was some concerns with domestic violence, when I arrived there, the married couple, both of them were my students.
Wow.
And that was heartbreaking because I knew both of them. They seemed to be very good, both great people. And I had even met their children prior to that because their children would come to the university during the week to visit them because they both attended classes typically on the same night. But I ended up having to get the family out to safety away from the dad. And that was a hard thing to do. But it still had to be done because the difference between doing nothing and doing something was definitely a life changing and life saving situation. So, Tina, what would you tell someone that is faced with that? Because you said people really got to divorce the problem.
Yes. Yes. You've got to get away. I left 3 times. And every time my ex-husband would go, to great lengths to apologize, and to promise to go for help and to never do it again. So what I want to say to people is, even if it happens once, leave. Leave immediately. I could have left literally 3 days after my marriage, and I didn't. I stuck it out for 16 years. And people have said to me, Tina, you're so strong. You're such, close friends have said, you're so full of nonsense. How did you stand through that? there's no easy answer. And I had done a bit of work in Johannesburg before I left South Africa with women. You know, you hear the same thing over and over again. First of all, there's a stigma attached. Okay, you don't want anyone to know. Okay, plus you are threatened. If you tell anyone, I'll kill you.
Yes.
So there's all these factors. And, you know, I really didn't want to hurt my parents by them knowing and then having to face the shame of having had a daughter that was in domestic violence. Okay. And you know, these narcissists, I mean, he was so charming. Anyone who knew him, you know, couldn't believe it, actually, when it finally came out, because it is unbelievable.
Yes.
You know, when there are other people around, everything looks normal. But please, 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 men and women out there, value yourself and value your life, because, you know, that blind rage comes to us all. And you need to save your children. You need to get out whilst you can. We've seen just last night, this young woman lost her life. Last week, you know, on a call like this one, someone asked me a question: what do we do? 4 women were killed in 2 days in South Africa. And we have to stand up against this. We have to speak up. So my message is, please tell your story. Please share what's happening. Let others support you and help you. Because when you're in the situation, you're paralyzed. You're paralyzed by fear. But you have to go. You have to go. There is help out there.
I want to ask a quick question, because there are hotlines out there, and I know you shared with me that about 4,200 hotline calls were answered. Nearly 3,000 were answered in Bergen County. Now, some people may be saying, Bergen County, wait, she just talked about statistics from Africa. Wait a minute, she knows about statistics in Africa. She knows about statistics in Bergen County. Bergen County's in New Jersey.
Yes, I live in Bergen County. And the shelter, the Center for Hope and Safety, is in Bergen County. And, you know, back to what we were saying earlier, that people can't believe that this isn't a crime that's committed because of alcohol abuse, or, you know, by a certain sector of the population that's uneducated. I had a previous CEO of mine who I convinced to go to a charity, to a fundraiser for Center for Hope and Safety. And she was horrified. She kept saying to me, because they had women tell their story, some of the former victims. And she said to me, but Tina, this is Bergen County. And I said, and so? And so there was that perception that because Bergen County is, you know, middle and upper class, that it doesn't happen. Well, it probably, in my experience, it probably happens more amongst the wealthy than it does not anywhere else. So, yes, I live here. I've been here for 9 years. It's my home. But I'm very close to South Africa, throughout Africa, and in fact the world. I have worked across 45 countries, and the blessing is that I'm able to recognize women. I don't have enough experience with any abused men, but I'm able to recognize when they're skirting around domestic violence. I met a phenomenal businesswoman in Manila in the Philippines.
Mhm.
And just one or two things she said as she was relating how she started up her business, and it's a big one. It's global now, and I won't mention it. I just looked at her and I said, if your husband doesn't want you to be on CNN and BBC talking about this innovative business, is it because you're being abused?
Yes.
And she just collapsed crying. And we're friends to this day. That was 2010. And she's managed to get out of that.
Right.
But again, there was the shame,
Mhm.
that vulnerability, which we know now in the research that's
Yes.
been done is so powerful. It's not
Yes.
weakness, it's strength.
I concur. And we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to be right back because we said we're not going to be before you long, but we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to take some of your comments, and we're also going to talk about guilt because so many people don't talk about it because of guilt. We're going to hear what Tina has to say about guilt, and then we're going to shortly wrap up. So if you have any questions, if you need to reach out to Tina and just find out more about how to reach her, how to get connected and tell the story, we're going to have some information here for you so that you can get connected and help people help themselves to overcome domestic violence globally. We'll be right back. Welcome to the Lotus Richey Ignite Show. We are here to inspire and empower you and ignite the fire of success within you so that you can ignite and take flight in every area of your life. We are here tonight with another great show with another powerful influencer that is intended to be here just for you. So we're back. We thank you so much for sticking around. If you have not shared, started a watch party, and liked this broadcast, what are you waiting for? We need to have you share, like, and start a watch party. One of the top reasons we know that stories like this don't get out is because people are afraid of domestic violence issues and repercussions. But today, we are closing the door on that fear and opening up a new door for people to step out of fear into faith and reach out to get the help that they need. So we're going to take some comments right now, and we want to thank so many of you. You're streaming in from all over. We got folks from Washington, D.C., Perth, Australia, and thank you so much, Medel. I see you said it's good to be here. We have Baltimore, Maryland here with us as well. Good to see you, Dee Bowen. Always happy to have you. Jasper, thank you for joining from South Carolina. Dr. Lori Miles. Hey there, Dr. Lori Miles. She's running for public office too. It's so good to see you. You know how to keep going, don't you? Yes, I do. Thank you so much. Wow, Felicia Berber, Lynette, thank you so much. Ruth Verby, all the way out of Canada, thank you so much. Ruth said it's unacceptable and unfathomable, and that is true. She also said, thank you, Lotus, for all you do for global healing and for giving hope. Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. Madame Tulekima shared with us that she's witnessed genital mutilation when she was 10 years old. It is horrible. And it is real domestic violence. And see, folks, what Tina talked about, we already have someone here that's living proof that it does exist. This is not a myth. This is happening to people every day, people like you and myself and Tina. Manel said, it is a real trauma. We have Sean Siegel from Columbia, Ohio. Hey, Sean, how you doing? Happy to have you on the show. Thank you, Ruth, for this comment as well. Ruth says, thank you for opening up and sharing your story. And she's talking to you, Tina. Thank you, Tina, for sharing your story. She greatly appreciates that. And Live with Larry CEO is here. He says, hi, beautiful people. God bless you all with great love and success. Live with Larry from North Carolina. Love you always. Thank you so much. And we have Chika Kumel. How you doing? Good to see you. She said, value self and life. Very powerful. So thank you so much. She says story sharing helps others to be free. That's correct. Because I would imagine, Tina, until you shared your story, did you feel very free?
Well, the minute I left the marriage, I did share the story, and then I got involved in supporting others like myself. But I tell you what was really freeing is I wrote my memoirs. And, you know, you never know who's going to read the book.
Yes.
And that was an incredible, still is incredible to see people's stories. And I often say to them, why don't you actually, instead of DMing me, instead of direct message, put it in the feed so others,
yes,
and they won't. Okay, so there still is the stigma. But I'm completely free now. I'm completely healed, except, of course, I have triggers.
yes,
Last week, as I said, when I heard that, the trigger went off. And I'm thrilled to say that, tomorrow in South Africa, in Johannesburg, on the Nelson Mandela Bridge, there will be a demonstration by men who are standing up, who will lament and ask forgiveness against femicide. And so, as I said earlier, each one of us can do something. Each one of us can spread the word. Each one of us can, actually take responsibility and get leaders of various communities
yes,
to step up and to raise awareness of the subject, which is still taboo.
yes.
Still is taboo, across all cultures. And, you spoke about guilt earlier, Lotus.
Yes, because so many people feel guilty. I shared with you when I was 6, I was raped by another child. He was like a teenager, maybe 11 or 12. And he told me, and it's such a parallel because you talked about people will tell you, look, I'll kill you if you say anything. And this is what he said to me. But you bear this guilt, and people wonder, how do I rise above the guilt? Because I haven't done anything to make him slam my head into the wall. I haven't done anything for my wife to hit me over the head with an iron or something like that. But they still have the guilt.
They do. And you often think, okay, could I have said something differently? Could I have not reacted?
Right.
Eventually, I learned to always look at the floor or at the ceiling so that I wasn't establishing eye contact with any man, because then the jealousy would come up. So it becomes, absolutely, unacceptable, and you just can't live that way. You have to get out and not feel guilty, because you know what? Nobody deserves that.
Exactly.
And guilt is very real, very, very real for many, many people.
I want to say thank you so much for sharing that first and foremost. I want to say thank you to Chika. She's joining us from Nigeria, Africa. Great to have you here. And Maril had a comment. She said it's terrible what's happening in South Africa. Women are doing every day, they're dealing with this every day. And something needs to be done. The sexual and domestic violence have reached a point of no return. And see, this is why Tina and I joined forces today to come on board and let you all know that there is something that needs to be done. There is something that can be done. And those of you with platforms, I urge you to reach out and make this epidemic known. Don't stop. And I'm going to ask Tina to go ahead and put in the chat the information about the event that's happening tomorrow, and I'll post it right here for you. And Live with Larry has a question, Tina, and I'm going to put it up here. He says, do you know where can a person get help to feed his family, but they live in Africa? Who do you talk to?
Well, it certainly would have to be, localized charities, because there are several that would step up. Don't go to a higher level, because that doesn't get you immediate results. And I'm hearing that you need immediate results. I often say to people, what would you do if your family was starving? So don't point fingers, at crime or, that type of thing, because we can't be judgmental. If your children are starving, what would you do? So
exactly.
Reach out, depending on which part of the country you're in. There are different charities that are feeding. I have a lifelong friend in the Cape Town area, for example, that cooks 3 times a week these massive pots, and they are delivered to with other supplies, dry supplies, non-perishables. They are actually delivered then to these feeding stations. So they are localized. That's my
yes.
Reach out to the churches. The churches are doing phenomenal work, and they will not see anyone go hungry.
Okay, so we know, folks, please reach out to the church. They will be happy to help you, and there are other organizations, and Tina and I will put our heads together and try to make a list. So next time we come back to talk about this subject, we'll have a list for you where you can reach out. Thank you for the question, Larry, because, we're talking about, domestic violence, but sometimes people, it may not be a domestic violence problem. It might be a problem where they just don't have the money that they need. And they're just trying to make it. So here, I'm gonna share this. Was that a JPEG? What was that?
I don't know why it's not actually showing up. Let me put a link to the post.
Okay.
Which is on LinkedIn. I don't know if the picture is not.
Okay, I've got it. So what we're going to do, I'm going to grab this, and folks, you can please don't hesitate to go here. I'm going to put this link in here for you, and we're going to pull it up so you can see it, okay? So that you can kind of help yourself. And I'm also going to share the link with you as well. So if you want to reach out and help somebody and you need more information from us, don't hesitate to go ahead and utilize this link that I'm going to put here for you. Here's the link, folks. Get ready to copy. Here it comes. There you go. Can you see that link, everybody? So when you go to that link, what's going to happen is you're going to go right to LinkedIn. And when you go to LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach out and get some of the added help that you need. And that's what you'll see when you go there. Okay, you'll see Tina Thomson, PCC. taking a stand against gender-based violence. And this is going to happen on Saturday, June 20th. Please, if you are able to support this cause in any shape, form, or fashion, please support this cause. It is a worthy cause. Okay? It is a worthy cause. We have to stamp out femicide. We have to stamp out race. We have to stamp out murder. And we have to say no to physical, emotional, and spiritual abuse of our grandmothers, mothers, wives, partners, girlfriends, sisters, and daughters, and our men. So make sure you join that movement because it is a movement, would you say, Tina?
It absolutely is. We're hoping that it will catch on in many other localities as well as other countries.
Yes. So, folks, we have thoroughly enjoyed you being here with us. And if you want to connect with us and help us to bring about more awareness, or if you want other topics to be shown, or if you are ready to change your mindset, because really it's a mindset, and you've got to change your mindset to stomp out things like these that are happening. And we've got another comment. She said, can you copy onto the comments so we can easily, I already did that. Thank you so much. And she said, no person should ever experience any type of abuse or feel guilty for expressing oneself. And that is so true. So, folks, we greatly appreciate you sharing this moment in time with us. If you need to contact me directly or even for one-on-one coaching, but that's not the primary reason we're here today. We're here to help raise awareness about domestic violence and really move into action. Not talk about it, but be about it. So if you want to help move into action on domestic violence and making sure we reduce and stamp out domestic violence, contact me at lotusignites@gmail.com, or you can also contact Tina here. You can contact her there. Those are the links, and she'll be happy to help you, help yourself, and help someone else change the very trajectory of their life. So we're going to take a quick break and come back with last remarks as we move on to help you help yourself ignite and take flight of every area of your life. Be right back. Welcome to the Lotus Richey Ignite Show. We are here to inspire and empower you and ignite the fire of success within you so that you can ignite and take flight in every area of your life. We are here tonight with another great show with another powerful influencer that is intended to be here just for you. Awesome, awesome. So thank you so much, folks, for being with us during this time that we've come and we've shared with you the importance of having the awareness of domestic violence globally because it is pervasive. And of course, for those of you that are just joining, I have the wonderful Tina Thomson. She's the founder and CEO of Epiphany Leadership Coaching. And we've been talking about the importance of and the impact of global domestic violence. And we are at the bottom of our broadcast. So, Tina, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you shedding light on this epidemic of global domestic violence. So, if you could share anything as we move to the next task in our lives, what would you share with the people around the world?
Lotus, first, I want to thank you for sharing your story so vulnerably. And what I would want to say to everyone is speak up. Speak up and get help. Even the abusers need help. They're in pain, but now they're inflicting their pain on innocent people. Please speak up and get out of those relationships.
Thank you so much. We appreciate each and every one of you, and we hope that you continue to stand up and speak up and ignite and take flight in every area of your life. Don't succumb to anything that doesn't serve you. We love you and we send you love, light, and blessings. Have a great day. Welcome to the Lotus Richey Ignite Show. We are here to inspire and empower you and ignite the fire of success within you so that you can ignite and take flight in every area of your life. We are here tonight with another great show with another